the best in Korea. So, you know, Neko, he's not here anymore, so I can kind of claim that one. We'll see if it's going to pay off. Foxes versus 7, first map, day 2, week 1. Overwatch Contenders Korea Season 1. Ready to dive in as we get these guys prepped to take off on Oasis. Already talked about it, the Pharah here from Zossen, something that we're certainly going to be keeping our eyes open for.
Certainly.
I think it's pretty much 100% chance that we see that come through. I know I botched it yesterday with Twilight and the Sombra, but this time, trust me, I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing him on that.
Certainly so, especially on the starting map, because he could actually sub out and allow Kino to come in the second map, just like in the past where he was control exclusive. So with Kino being the Sombra player now for this team, because I spent a lot of time talking to him about it actually before we got into the match. He said he's the Sombra player now. Would not be surprised to see the Pharah into Sombra going into hybrid. However, as it stands right now, Sashin has the Sombra locked in. So it looks to be a fairly mirrored comp here with the exception of Revenge running the Moira versus the Lucio here. So the trade-off being sustained healing versus extra damage and pick potential.
Well, this does make sense. We're going to be starting off here. So the health packs around this side of the map is going to be very important, especially the one down in the pits. So this is going to be the non-Pharah one. So
yes,
we can hold off on that for now. We got maybe 2 more rounds to determine whether or not I'm a liar.
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to what map it was. I was just watching the top of the screen. All right, we already have a DMAC here, so this is a disaster.
Yeah, it's going to be pushing him out there. Free, going to get popped. Evo going down. I'm going to trade myself on that one. And now Mika is going to get jumped on. And this is just going to be a complete stomp so far from the side of Foxes. Just running over 7. They can barely find any ground to stand on. That's going to be the first cap coming through here for Foxes as they start ticking up. 7 going to have to go ahead and regroup and clear their heads as they get ready to approach this point yet again.
It was slightly a sloppy approach by 7 as well, and when you have a Moira versus a Zenyatta in terms of healing, you would think that Freeze Diva would have lasted longer than stand 1s, but unfortunately it was just not to be the case. You see Bazzi swinging around here looking for a pick. They're actually going to look for that pick onto stand 1. They're chasing deep here.
That pulse bomb ready to go, but I think he just tossed it straight into the defense matrix. They're not going to be finding anything there from Bazzi as he tries to fire in and get the break onto that mech, but he can't find him yet again. Free is going to be knocked out. Now Tuba goes down as Orochi finds the kill. Free finished off the Baby Diva form, and Knee just trying to keep his alive, but he just cannot do it. Now duking it out here with the Tracer, but he gets a little bit of backup, so they will go ahead and peel away from them. Took him back here.
Bazzi
gate them out, has that Primal Rage pop, trying to get the lockdown there. Onto Lucio, will be able to do so. Now it's just going to be zapping away. Still have control over the point here as they take up to 50%, but with Jungmak going down, this might be the opportunity for 7 to get in.
Yeah, they are looking to finish these members off. Evo gets the stomp there onto Adora, knocking him into the pit even. They're just buying time right now, just trying to build as much control here as possible. The flip does come through, but this is all Bazzi. You can see it mostly in the kill feed. This player was heavily criticized for his Tracer. His Widow is the Pog champ, right? His Widow was the one that everyone was praising. His Tracer was a little bit weaker, but in this last fight, despite being down in numbers, 7 was able to fight back. They were out-positioned as well, forced back to the spawn. He got into the back line and wreaked havoc.
Now we're going to have the Magic Warrior coming through here. He's going to be building up, looking for that Coalescence. Revenge just about to have his. They have both support ultimates ready to go, as well as a self-destruct there from Free. But Bazzi, he's going to be the first one that gets picked off, and now the Sound Barrier comes through just a bit too late. Couple it in with the Coalescence, firing away. Looking to get some picks, but so far nothing there for 7, and it's halfway on the flip for Foxes as they try to take back this point. Adora goes down as Free finds the kill. A slight little reprieve, no Tracer dipping around into the backside, trying to take down the Lucio and the Moira, at least for now, but it's still an all-out war here onto the point, but 7 is holding strong as they're getting closer and closer to matching that of Fox's. Self-destruct up, everybody bows out. Feels like starts progressing just a slight bit.
Feels like the Bazzi show here, man. He's got another pulse bomb again, looking for that pick onto the Diva. That's been their primary target every time. Now that stand 1 is out, that is going to be the end of this point for Fox as they're going to grab this back 64%, or secure this, I should say.
Very hard fought, but now 7 is going to be the ones closer, pushing up to that 100% mark. Zossen does have the EMP ready to go, but outside of that, they don't have much to couple it with. Adora can get the pulse bomb very swiftly, but they're still a ways away from the Sound Barrier. Need extremely far away from having that Coalescence. Zossen now going to get found here by Tuba, the hack. What's coming through? They'll both just jump away from each other with the translocators. The rehack here.
Yeah. Looking for that EMP is just a few percentage points away from it. They don't have anything to hard engage, like you said. If they had Coalescence, it'd be huge. They're the ones who get EMP'd first, except Tuba. He's got his. Holding it. There it is.
Yeah, throws it right back in. Overwatch is going to go down, but they traded out for Mika. Revenge dangerously low, and Sassen will also get picked off there by Free, and it's still going to be 7 winning the fight by the look of things. Tuba eventually gets taken down, but the losses on the side of Foxes are just so much more severe. They're going to take up to 100, and that is just going to be the first round of Oasis going over to 7. Nice turnaround after a pretty rough start.
A really good positioning there by Tuba. He was obviously initially just looking to build the last 10% of his ultimate there to get the EMP, but as soon as he realized that the opponent's team was trying to, they were trying to basically capitalize on the fact that everyone was clumped there around that entranceway to the point. I don't know exactly what to call it. It's not quite a gate, but you know, that little entranceway there. Then he stayed out, waited before translocating in order to get the EMP off in that grouped up fight, which was more effective. And Bazzi was able to clean up. Not to mention that he was really conservative with his translocator usage. He actually saved it a lot of the time to get into the high ground, and also was kind of avoiding using it before fights broke out because he wanted to make sure he had the potential to activate that EMP from high ground.
Here we go. We're just going to actually jump straight into this one as we swap over to Garden. Tuba still going to be operating here onto the Sombra. Sassen has swapped over to that Pharah as promised, but if he gets hacked, remember, he cannot hover.
That's true.
So has to stay out of range of that Sombra. For now, it's just raining down these rockets here from above. Let's get Bazzi, but he lost out on need, so the Pharmacy Comp's been split into 2. Free jumps up into the air, tries to disrupt him, but Sassen just goes ahead, bounces back, keeps himself safe here for the moment, but it's still going to be 7 gaining.
Remember, like we talked about yesterday, in this meta too, if you just simply can't control the ground battle while your pharmacy isn't getting picks, it's just simply not worth it to run the farm most of the time. Sassen's almost to a barrage, but he's not pocketed by Mercy. He is going to swap, so needs sticking with this Moira, but they've given up so much time, and he wasted so much ult for this. Bazzi looks for a flank here. Hasn't shown himself yet. Okay, he's just going to look to build a pulse bomb here and stop the advances of Foxes, so keeping them occupied on 2 sides.
You see Amador throwing in that pulse bomb. Let's take Free rather low, but he's going to get healed up here by the look of things. Maybe actually going to get popped out right at the last second. The healing from the Moira just not going to be enough to help keep him alive, and now Bazzi's going to get punished as Overwatch finds the kill. Foxes looking for the retake, but the EMP comes down, and that is just going to be a triple leap kill from Evo. Are you kidding me? Need, Sassen, and Stan all go down. They just rip right through them. Foxes thought they found the opening, but 7 slammed the door in their faces.
Evo's got that primal rage, didn't need it. Is going to hold on to that one now, dropping the sprays. And 7 up to 60% now. Sashen, look at his ult charge, only at 60% because he switched onto this Sombra so late. Baz is again trying to harass them as they try to enter the point here. It's just so frustrating to have to always be watching your back. He's holding this pulse bomb for a better opportunity.
Absolutely bonkers. Everything that just transpired there. 7 picking up almost 80%. Jungmak pops that primal rage, but everybody is just focusing him down. They can barely keep him alive with the heals, but in the meantime, Adora and Sassen have both come up with kills, killing the DPSers on the side of 7. They need much more than that. They need to get the cap, and they need to hold it the whole way up to 100 if they want to tie this, if they want to stop 7 from just 2-0ing here on Oasis. Good start. They get the pop out there, and Revenge goes down. They'll get Free. They'll get Evo. No tank line available here for the side of 7, just delaying as long as they can. They get to 99% before allowing the flip.
Yeah, 7 just needs to build ultimates to counter here, but I like that Foxes were patient. They didn't use the sound barrier they had, nor the EMP. Sashen was very patient there. It was very tempting to, when he had opportunities for a triple EMP, to flip the point 10% faster, just drop it there. But they know they need that to counter the big 6 push that 7 is trying to build towards right now. Tuba about to have an EMP opportunity. 1-1 fight here is the end of this map.
Yeah, Jungmak, he's just going to get targeted out. Now the hack comes through onto Stan. Can't finish him off. The Coalescence comes down, and Tuba's just pushing forward. Has that EMP, throws it down. Now trying to get the kill here. Perhaps in onto the Lucio, gets the hack. No wall riding going to be available for him, but he manages to jump up onto the high ground, but he's still so dangerously low, but he's cut off from the rest of his team, so he's not healing anybody at the same time. He'll eventually get taken down, but traded out for Mika, but 7 is still going to have the man advantage as they try to get this recap. It's nearly come through. Only 43% gain for Foxes in the meantime, and Evo here, he's just gating everybody out as best as he can with that primal rage. They will get the flip. And now taking down here That might just be it. Saucin tries to tag in, but he's getting body blocked, has to jump back with the translocator.
2 for 2, man.
Be it. 2-0 over to 7.
2 for 2. Tuba holds the EMP in that critical EMP exchange. You know, if you're the first one to drop the EMP, it can oftentimes be fight winning because you can prevent the other EMP from going off. You can burst down all the healers at the back, or depending on how the fight goes, burst down the tanks that are in the front line. That was the idea there for Foxes, but Tuba was able to, again, hide on the edge, come in for the follow-up EMP, and then usually that was granted, he was granted also some shields from the sound barriers coming through right after as well. Good positioning versus EMP. It felt like we were seeing Sasha just a little bit too aggressive with his EMPs, very trigger happy, whereas Tuba was very willing to play more reactionary. And we can't forget about Evo, who just totally dominated control of the point, was by far the better Winston there.
Yeah, really wonderfully done. So 7, looking very clean. It was just the initial start there at the beginning of Oasis, jumped in, kind of got wiped out and Foxes took control, but after that, grabbed him by the neck and just did not let it go. So already very swift map control out of the way as they take Oasis. We'll have to see what Foxes are going to favor as we get ready to move into our hybrid map. Got some nice Western fans showing up here today for the second day of Overwatch Contenders, so
yeah,
happy those guys can make the trip out.
Gosu, by the way, means professional in Korean. I know that like it's become kind of a English Korean word, and that basically means he's like amazing or great or good. It literally means professional, but is used as such as it's used in you know the foreign scene to kind of describe a player or someone
it's
at life.
certainly taken a twist.
So we are having Aquino subbed in for Sashin. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, this is exactly how things would always go. Saucin would just be in for the control map. They typically would win it because he was able to play the Pharah, but now just given this meta with the Sombra being as impressive as it is, it just single-handedly shuts down the Pharmacy comp. It's got the better bullet spray, so it can even damage them from a decent mid-range, and then you have the hack denying the hover from the Mercy, denying the hover as well from the Pharah. There's just nothing really that you can do.
Yeah,
they learned that a bit too late.
Yeah, well, they didn't pocket him, so like there wasn't much he could do. They had the Moira there. He built his barrage really high, up to like 70% or so, but just wasn't an opportunity to use it.
I had to abandon it.
Yeah, it was that late transition that meant that the first EMP went to to 7, of course, and then they were able to keep the momentum going with that. Part of that reason why Evo was able to get that triple kill was because they had better control of the point itself for so long. We saw Sashin run Pharah even on University, although that's in this meta pretty ridiculous, and we didn't see that attempted on that first point. But he has in the past run on University. But it's a little bit, I guess it feels just familiar that we see this sub because Sashin was the control guy, and I feel like as a DPS player, it's got to feel a little bit frustrating that you're kind of relegated to only this, especially because if you're trying to improve your Sombra, as you know, he just simply was not as good as Tuba. You're trying to improve your Sombra, you're not even able to play the Pharah that you're famous for on all map points, and even if you start the Pharah, you can't use it the entire point, so he has to switch this here he's not as familiar with. And so it's unfortunate that for him now, Aquino's going to come in here, and Aquino's like, well, I'm better than you at Sombra. It's my turn now, even though you just played mostly Sombra in the control map. I spent a lot of time talking to Aquino before the matchup just because he was in the makeup room at the same time as us, and he does feel his Sombra is fairly weak at the moment compared to where he'd like it to be, and that, you know, in the old times, you know, he never played Sombra because it was always the sub-healers. Neko would be the one who would ever rarely play it for the Foxes, so he's in the position now.
That, I'm never sure whether it's actually just Korean honesty or if it's Korean modesty when it comes down to that. Like, oh no, it's not as good as it should be, but maybe you're actually still a god on it and you're just saying that because you're a very modest person, or maybe he's just being actually completely honest, and maybe they try to stray away from the Sombra yet again here on the side of the Foxes. So we'll see what's going to happen as we get ready to jump into the next map and also find out what that map is going to be. We know that the Foxes, for their hybrid, do prefer Numbani, so perhaps that is going to be where they try to direct their attention to and try to get a win here, tie up the series 1-1 against 7, because they need something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, 7 looks like they might just be able to run away with this one.
Oh, certainly. Well, we know that the Foxes prefer Numbani in terms of the hybrid map, so I feel like if you if that's your plan here, you could run Aquino on the soldier, try to skip the Sombra entirely on defense, obviously, on that map, try to take a high ground defense. That's something that can be used, something that was used a lot in Korean Numbani games over the last year. I don't think that's what they're going to do if they want to run Numbani, but I think that's one thing they could use Aquino's strengths for, to run that long-range hit scan. He's very good at that. He's also a decent Genji player and would play the Genji sometimes when Suminsu was playing Doomfist, when they would play the Doomfist Genji comps, when Doomfist was actually in the game. I feel like he's been removed. Overwatch fans of all ages.
Yep, starting them young. We had some older fans yesterday.
They can't pick him up for Overwatch League anytime soon.
Yeah, that's true. This guy could have a very long and fruitful career in Overwatch before he's eligible for Overwatch League. So he's got some time. He can get multiple championships under his belt.
I want to know what his main is. So you can see a lot of Seven fans here. The blood trail is strong, man, in these fan signs recently.
Yeah. It's a lot of Super Meat Boy going around.
Yeah.
Saw a couple yesterday, even more out here today.
It says, I believe in only 7. So that sign says with the blood trail there. Got a Karos fan sign here. Karos' opening debut cast here at Contenders. Has been commentating a lot of Overwatch League in Korean.
That is excellent.
I don't know what this is about, but...
Neither do I, but I love it. Whatever it is.
I don't even know. It says, don't shoot me, shoot 7, or something like that.
The 7 is on your forehead.
Yeah.
Why would you want them to shoot the 7?
It's a Running Man parody sign. Running Man's a really famous show in Korea, but I don't really watch
that
much television.
Boys.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the little at the end there. That's basically like a ha in Korean if you want to. It basically says gosu ha 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 if you want to translate it.
Most people are going to be a little bit more familiar with that one. Revenge coming through with a nice
Zenyatta hat.
A nice little Zenyatta there.
It basically says our healer's going to kill Tracer, talking about Revenge, although he does have a pretty passive playstyle normally on the Zen.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that's going to happen as we get ready. So we still just have Aquino getting ready on the stage, taking a while just to get his peripherals as well as his settings all ready to go, and then we can figure out what the next map is going to be. So seems like we'll be getting into this one pretty quickly.
Yeah, so we just have, this is kind of a Korean tradition to have fan signs. So she said she's a Fox's fan. She said yo, which is the Korean word for Fox here. It's a tradition to have what we call cheerfuls in Korea if you're watching for the first time. So basically, these are given out at the ticket booth, and you can write whatever you want. So you basically just bring them in, you write a lot of, whatever you want to say, whether you're a fan of somebody, you're a fan of a commentator. Akaros got a ton of signs today. And then you put them up, and then they show them on camera. As soon as we use them to fill time, Achilios. But that time has been filled.
Yeah.
We're headed to Numbani.
We took care of it. It's good, Now it's Numbani. As expected, NC Foxes, with their choices after the loss, will be going over the most predictable map selection for them. And 7, doing any research on these guys should know that this was likely to be the choice, and we'll see if they have any sort of counter strategy ready to go. We saw, the picks from Athena, especially yesterday, not really playing out well for them. MVP Space as well weren't able to pick up a single victory throughout the duration of the day. So.
Well, it's going to be attack Foxes here, so we won't be able to see Kino's Soldier if they're going to be even running it at all. It is going to be the Mercy coming with this, though, so a heavy dive commitment here with Genji and Sombra. Bazzi running the Widow, so fan service activated. He's most famous for this more than his Tracer, even though his Tracer on Oasis was pretty fantastic. Let's see if he can live up to the hype.
Yeah, and Adora's going to know this, which is why he immediately jumps to the top and has the deflection ready to go, fully expecting that Bazzi will have his target set on him.
Oh, nice dodge here on those grenades.
He's going to be wrapping around the back, the dive coming up here onto the high ground, but actually Tuba's going to have the jump there on Aquino. He gets taken down, but Tuba immediately falls there after his need finds the kill, but Revenge gets rid of Jungmak. So decent start here for 7 on the hold. See how long they can keep this one up for, because losing out on a free is not going to be doing them any favors. So he gets D-Max, stand 1. Actually the one taking him down, winning out on that little Diva scuffle coming through.
Yep, just building right now, you know, towards this successful dive, but they switched off the Sombra, as mentioned. They're going to knock Bazzi down, so that's the whole crux of this defense. Ana is going to be eliminated as well, so this should finally be enough. The first time they crashed through, they kind of messed up the defense. The second time, they completely destroy it, and when you run a Widow comp like this, it's just so difficult to retake the point. They're going to try to buy some time.
Yeah, a bit of a last-second contest here, but Free's going to get knocked out of the back. Jump comes out there from Winston. He's actually going to invest a Primal Rage. Evo will be utilizing this one to try to buy some time, but Pulse Bomb comes through, actually kills Tuba and his Riptire simultaneously as Adora just tries to gate everybody else out. Revenge will be able to come up with a kill there to finish him off as he dashes forward. So, but that is still going to be the cap coming through there from Foxes, and now they have just shy of 5 minutes on the time bank as they get ready to push forward to the street space.
So this is one of the worries for Bazzi. Of course, his Widow is fantastic. He uses it oftentimes on maps where you would not expect it, but perhaps in a moment like this, it would have been safer to go back to the old tried and true Soldier if they really wanted to take a high ground defense like this with the Ana Lucio. He plays it riskier. When Junkrat is eliminated there, it becomes super easy to flank before Junkrat can get back in a position to control that choke point. He loses control of the high ground, they lose the point.
And Nanobu's coming down here onto Avo. He's just trying to get the kill onto the Zenyatta, but just cannot do it. Forces out the Transcendence there from Need. And Kite's back here with the rest of his team. Tuba now trying his hand at the Genji himself. Tries to get into the back, tries to kill Need, but he just can't do it. The healing's coming through. Overwatch just pocketing him. And that is just going to be Tuba going down. So very aggressive play from 7 on the defense here. And they are suffering for it and just giving up free space over the
really
Foxes.
are. And, you know, the early Primal Rage there is just really painful as well. Evo's not going to have that just yet. And I like the idea of the Ana Genji. We saw it yesterday. If you can have that long-range healing to empower the Genji, if he doesn't die early like Tuba has been, you could build those early Dragon Blades. You can play so aggressively, but this has not been successful so far.
No, it has not. See Bazzi there nearly finding that one clip onto Kino, just can't finish him off. He will be able to make it out there with his life. Overwatch as the Valkyrie pop, floating around from above, just trying to keep everybody topped up and in the fight so they can continue to push. Multiple ultimates still available. The Pulse Bomb will miss. No, actually does find Tuba in the end to finish him off, and gets the pop out there onto Free, taking him right out of the back. And Foxes just continue this slaughter down the street, just shy of point B. No last-second contest. They'll get this completion. Now they have 4.5 minutes to go into C.
Sometimes you don't have to stick the bomb to get the kill with it, and Genji was not getting out of there. Tuba, who committed to this Genji pick. Sombra was fantastic last game. Still hasn't been able to build a Dragon Blade despite being on this for so long. Even Revenge now switching off of the Ana, not comfortable to try to run this long distance healing anymore. They've got one opportunity for a Sound Barrier Dragon Blade. Needs to come up big here, otherwise Foxes are going to have a record time on Numani.
EMP ready to go. Kino's going to drop that one in, but nearly gets popped immediately, and Need will get taken down. They do trade one out there for Tuba, eliminating the enemy there just for one, but they still are going to be traded up here by Foxes as they keep coming out on top. Another pulse bomb from Fedora finds his stick, gets Evo. Freeze, but taken out of the back as well. And finished off, and it's just Foxes are steamrolling here with their map selection.
They use the barrier, and now this Dragon Blade just simply isn't going to be as effective. They're even getting camped right now in the spawn. Tuba's going to have to find the Miracle Blade here, but there's a Transcendence available. How could he break through? Already taking so much damage. Nice headshot there to knock out Jungmei, but this is going to have to be the Blade of all time, but he's hacked.
And let's find one, but let's just say he's going to be hacked. He's going to be going low, and he can't stay alive. He gets taken down. Jungmei brought right back in here by Overwatch. Pulse bomb out from Bazzi. Does find one, but it's only going to be Need falling, and it's still Foxes just less than 2 meters shy of this point. They keep picking them off one after the other as they roll in, and that is just going to be the completion.
Time.
Wonderful time coming through from NC Foxes.
And I mean, they just steamrolled through. They had momentum the entire time and were constantly getting ult advantages because they were winning fights without using them, and then just crushing the remaining members who were being haphazardly aggressive. Evo, pretty disappointing Winston this time. Also using that Primal Rage super early in that first fight meant that they didn't have it for later stands, so they could never really break the momentum from the Foxes. And I have to be critical of the Genji play from Tuba. He just simply wasn't able to make it worth it. And if you can't do consistent damage because you're getting picked. First of all, you're never going to get a Dragon Blade, and second of all, you're just missing, you know, a potential stronger pick, the Sombra, which could allow hacking, could allow disruption with EMPs, or even something like a Soldier. They could have tried to use long-range hit scan there at the final push to at least slow down the momentum, but they just kept trying to beat this push with the Sombra with the Tracer by trying to counter it with better dive. It just simply wasn't successful, so much so that Revenge gave up on Tuba, switched off the Ana. They used the sound barrier before he had the Dragon Blade because they were so desperate and just couldn't even use it. So basically the whole Genji pick was worthless. I mean, Genji's not only a Dragon Blade hero, right? He can get backline picks, but in this meta, it's so difficult to do so, especially when everyone's clumped up on a payload. You've got Sombra, you got Tracer, you got Winston there to peel for you. You're really just looking for those big kills on the blades unless the supports are out of position. And they just never had momentum for a second. Gonna be a long, tough road here for the defense now. Yeah. Or for the attack.
Yeah, Seven has to absolutely explode forward here onto Nimbani to try to even match that time coming through here for the side of the Foxes. Absolutely stellar. 3 minutes, 4 seconds on the finish there. Looking to tie things up 1-1 in the series. Tuba yet again is going to be coming forward here with the Genji. Yeah. Wants to have a better performance this time around, and Adora is actually going to be bringing out that very elusive Soldier 76 that we don't see much of.
Yeah, it's not going to be Kino actually, so I like this flexibility that Fox are showing already. Adora is not just a Tracer player, but actually can bring the Soldiers. They can run Soldier Sombra, which can be so powerful in terms of pairing those attack visors.
But already the kills are coming through. Tuba's going to find a double kill, dashes through to finish off Overwatch, Adora, and need both down. So no healers available here for the Foxes. But Tuba, he's the one who desperately needs one, but he's going to get taken down as Kino finds the kill. But it's still going to be Seven in onto the point. Second tick, getting ready to come through, and they might just full cap this right here on the first try.
Well, while I was trying to explain the synergy between Sombra and Soldier, they got dive and died before it could even come to fruition. So going to be a great start here in terms of time bank, 5:35 as you say. And Tuba, he was able to make this Genji dive work finally. Foxes didn't have the counter dive set up with the Junkrat to help protect the Soldier. They went with the Sombra instead. The Junkrat can help prevent things like this massive dive from coming through because you have the concussive mines there. They didn't do it. Seven instantly wrecks them. And now Tuba's gonna have a Dragon Blade coming up fairly soon.
Bench as well, looking for that Transcendence, but Bazzi's actually going to get taken down to the backside. Oporochi with a right click just finishes him off. Adora goes forward but can't get the pick. But as you can see, they're just systematically pushing Seven back over towards the new spawn room and just dominating the payload.
Yeah, see this aerial view as Seven is just hugging around this corner now. Foxes have pushed far away. Looking for these right clicks here, trying to live up to Neko. He's got that Transcendence here, so he wants to hold it. When the Dragon Blade comes through, here it comes, and he holds it perfectly done.
Yeah, really well timed there. So Need going to be staying alive here for the moment. They just train right back in on the Tuba as Stan comes up with a kill, but as soon as that Transcendence is gone, as he is there with the Pulse Bomb to go ahead and finish him off, and now you can see it's Seven. They're the ones creating some distance, some space that they can just keep moving this payload up. So just in front.
Achilios is here. Both these teams having a bit of a weak defense today.
Yeah, it seems like that might be the problem. So it's just going to be whoever can be the most aggressive and get the fastest time is going to be the winner. 0.38 meters left to go. They will get halted here by the Foxes as they go in for that last ditch effort to stop. Primal Rage there from Jungmak just trying to knock everybody out and away, but he's still losing teammates on the backside of the fight. Stan 1 and Kino both have been taken down. It's only a trade so far here for free.
I mean, unfortunately, too, they actually used everything in that last fight. Need got picked even after the Transcendence.
He might get picked yet again. There it is. The hit coming through from Bazzi, and he's got the perfectly timed recall to get himself out of there as he goes low on the HP.
He's looking for more. Okay, I think he's spotted here.
And the Pulse Bomb ready to go.
Yeah, seen by Stand 1 here, so we'll have to leave, but he's looking for another opportunity to pick off the supports before they can get those ultimates. Evo holds on to this Primal Rage too. That's going to be what they're going to try to use to secure this point. Here comes the attempted assassination on that Winston.
If they can't get the Town Barrier comes in to answer it. Evo's going to be topped right back up now, has a Primal Rage popped, ready to go, and he is just storming through the back lines. Gets Need, locks him down, takes him out as Tuba finishes off the Diva single-handedly. And now Oporochi, he'll fall as well. Bazzi has not had to invest this Pulse Bomb. He's got it. He can just hold it into the choke point as they try to come out of the spawn room.
Kino's making that switch to Soldier. I really like this. It feels late, but it's just, they can't even get on the point. I like the idea as to what they're trying to bring here with the Soldier swap.
I think it might have got moved away in the leap.
Yeah, that definitely happened. But they couldn't get they couldn't get control of that point in terms of the dive. They were getting destroyed by Bassi, who was either killing the backline supports, winning the DPS trade, or heavily damaging the Winston. So the fights just were out of control, snowballing away. Because they weren't running Moira either, they were running the Zenyatta Lucio. There was no way to burst save the Winston when that kind of damage was coming through. The targeting has always been really good in terms of eliminating the tanks first for both of these teams. I think that's why they're both struggling on the defense, because the focus fire on tanks has been so good. You just wipe the back with these tracers, with these Sombras right afterwards. Aquino switching the soldier would have been good if they could have just for 1 second got clear line of sight for him, for 1 second taking control of that defense. Achilles, I think there's a possibility we have another tie after this one if this lackluster defense continues.
I mean, this really could just be one of those times where we keep going back and forth, everybody pushing. We already saw Runaway just yesterday able to go ahead, push in during overtime, get a cap, and then keep the payload moving over towards point B twice in a row. Once on Eichenwald and then again on Gibraltar, but we'll see if these guys can pull it off. It's going to be the attack coming out first and foremost here from the side of the Foxes.
Let's see if Tuba can survive this time. He's going to be the big peel here for Bazzi, obviously with the tanks as well, but preventing members from coming up into those choke points. You see he's kind of staying right with the Widow right now. If he dies, then this position is going to be so difficult.
Okay, that's the Bazzi we've been looking for. Gets a double kill. Adora dashes in right in front of him, and he just melees him down for the finish. Absolutely beautiful play to start things off on the Widowmaker. This is what he was looking for the first time. Now for the second time, seems like it is going to be the charm. And that's what's still firing away, but hasn't found much yet. But that alone was enough to shut down the push.
And that's going to burn through a lot of the smaller time bank here for the Foxes. Stand one, absorbing as much damage as you can. That's going to be a lot of cooldown wasted, you could argue there. Let's free up here. Just harassing now. Up next, is the next big dive here with Kino again. No EMP. They're coming up now. And Junkrat again. Peel.
Jumping through. Tuba taken down low, but he's going to get spot healed. As he has been taken down, Need of all people actually finds the kill there with the Moira. Now he's got the Coalescence ready to go, and we're going to hear it pop off screen. Revenge still just firing away, looking for a finish here. Gets the Discord Orb in onto the Tracer. Remember the sign says, I will kill your Tracer. Doesn't quite find it, but does force him back with a recall. For now, it's still going to be 7 holding firmly. Yeah,
indeed. Tuba's been alive this entire time as well, but it's been about the accuracy of Bazzi more than his peel, realistically, with how many kills he's been able to get with Revenge's Discord Orbs. Okay, Stand 1 Remix is going to lead the charge here. Wants to be able to mitigate the damage coming through with that defense matrix, but the setup is just impervious at the moment, and he's got this vision now with his ultimate.
Yeah, the Infrasight has just come through, so now they can spot every single rotation being made by the Foxes, and seems like they're aware of this, so they are playing this one very slowly, just poking out every now and then, but not hard committing. I'll wait until that ultimate expires, and then try to push in. For now, Evo and Free just commanding the corner, trying to stop them from pushing in. They're going to do so, but Jungmak is just going to get punished immediately as Revenge comes up with another kill. Bazzi has yet again been taken out, this time by Adora, who is swapped over onto that Genji. Self-destruct chucked into the back, but it doesn't find anything. And Tuba is throwing out the Riptire. He's looking for a pick, finds a double. Oparochi and Adora both go down, and Bazzi has been brought back into the fight by Mika here with this Mercy.
This just might simply be the full ult here in our extra round. The Fox is just unable to break through this excellent DPS duo, really, of, well, I don't even want to say DPS duo, the support and DPS, the Discord Orbed Widow targets are just getting blown up right now, coming from Bazzi. Revenge is hitting those targets, and Jungmak is dying so many times. He's got the Primal Rage. It's maybe their best chance to make it happen. They have a Transcendence as well, but look at this. Look at how much damage Bazzi's already done with these Discord Orbs.
Yep. Chucking him out every single time. He's going to shift over to the side, but I was going to say the Genji is right there on top of him. A double kill comes through for Adora as he just dashes his way to victory. Tuba now firing away, throws out the mine, gets a bit of damage in on the Jungmak, but cannot finish him off. And Kino from the backside is able to tag him up. 2 ticks coming through now for the Foxes as we enter into overtime. They will be able to get this completion, but how far can they go is the new question. 4 ultimates ready. They can actually make a very significant push here on the street
phase. As long as they use these conservatively, we are going to see this switch from Bazzi back to the Tracer. Not going to be able to use the Widow beyond point A. Let's see if they can continue to burn down Youngmak. Obviously not with the Widow this time, but with the Tracer. That's been their strategy in every single defensive engagement so far, is to blow up the Winston, then take the remaining fights, especially with Junkrat. Now Tuba moving back onto that Genji. Down on ultimates, they need to be careful how much they commit to these fights.
Nora gonna get flanked by Revenge. There comes up the kill. Overwatch as well, taken down 7. They want to stop this one very swiftly. Doing an excellent job of it so far, but they need a bit more than that. Jungmak, right as the Discord Orb connects, he gets taken right out of the sky. Self-destruct up into the air, but that's it. Nobody else is nearby. As the Diva goes up, she doesn't come down fast enough, and that is just going to be the bar plummeting. That is going to be a decent attempt there by Fox's. Massive time bank, though, that got drained down, and they only made it to the first corner push.
Achilios, I think this is maybe the time where we see a more aggressive setup on defense, something crazy like a Torbjorn setup, an old Ariza style Widow maybe.
Such a Hail Mary.
But I feel like with the time bank that is here, after you have that failed push where you had so many ultimates, that overtime push was so unsuccessful, I feel like you really need to consider a kind of a hardcore defense here of some kind. Just running counter dive like they've been so obsessed with in terms of their defense so far, I think just might, if you run that, then you just run the risk of losing a standard team fight to 6 ult push. Having something a little bit more sturdy to burn through the time bank first, I think might be better. It's tough. It's a tough call, though, either way.
My main concern would be that because the time bank is so huge for the side of 7, that even if you do hold off the first push with the Torbjorn and get the ultimate in the end, you can pull that one off. I would still be concerned that the next push after that, as soon as you burn the ultimate, then it's just over. The molten core is gone, and then all of a sudden you can just wipe the floor with them.
They're going to be running the Soldier again. Let's see if, without Junkrat once more, they can keep control of this high ground. This was horribly unsuccessful last time, and that's what I'm concerned about. More than they should be running a Torbjorn, should be they be running the same comp that utterly failed last time. Is my bigger concern. Kino's already being dove upon right now. We're watching Need, but he's taking some damage. Here comes the dive. And they just can't keep control of this high ground.
Just jumping straight in onto the point so far. Trying to get that one capped up. Stan is down here on the low ground, trying to prevent this from happening. And Tuba going down is not a good start here for the side of 7. As Fox is trying to hold this out. Full hold, certainly the thing that they're looking for. And already a 4-7 back with just the single pick.
So they were able to keep control of the high ground there despite the dive through. The healing wasn't enough, and partially due to Akino's own sustained healing with his biotic field. So they're trying to use this choke point. They're trying to bait this dive using the right click from Need. They're trying to burst down the Winston and the Diva when they come up. Here comes the flank.
He's on the backside. He's going to go ahead and finishes off Need. That is going to be critical here as the kills just start spilling through. Kino also falls. They trade one back there on a Revenge. They get Mika as well, so no healers available for the side of 7, but Boxes have the heavier losses. Stand one, knocked out of the mech, jump back, going down. Everybody being eliminated other than Adora here, who comes up with a double kill, but I don't think he alone can stop this take.
The idea here definitely was just to have Need get those right clicks to stop the heavy dive, but they just did not see the flank coming, Achilios.
I misspeak, he actually has come in here, stopped the second tick from going through. 7 will be held off for a bit longer, but they still have 3 minutes on the clock, but 1 tick is all that they get. Had it been 2, would have been much more dire straits here for the side of Foxes.
They certainly could potentially even get a full hold here, minus the tick, obviously. As Akino's regained control of this high ground, he's closer to that tack visor now. They just need to be able to watch for the flanking Bazzi this time. That was the issue last time. They had Need looking forward, but Bazzi was the problem.
Jordan filing straight there onto Jungmak. We'll be able to take him down with the help of that Discord Orb. Now they're in onto the point. This is going to draw Foxes down off that high ground stand as well. Discorded up. He's going to throw down that self-destruct, but it's up on the high ground. It's not where he wanted. Everyone can just go ahead and push up against the wall and stay safe. Kino, in the meantime, has the tack visor, but everybody is piling over looking for him. With the help of that sound barrier, he's not going to be getting any kills for it. Adora backs up, taken down by Bazzi right in the last second, and it's a near cap here for 7 with still 2 minutes on the clock. Foxes still trying to hold out into this one. They have the Primal Rage ready to go. smacking away as best as he can, but Tuba has that Dragon Blade. He wants to finish this right here, right now. Dashes in, one more hit would take out the Winston, and he's just gonna die as he hits the ground. Fozzie scoops that one up, Free knocked out, Tuba goes down. Foxes do not want to go down without a fight. They're fighting tooth and nail to stop this take from coming through, and so far, it's been a decent time buy, but they can't get it in the end. Now they have to regroup. They still have 2 healers dead, and they have to prevent this push.
And the biggest problem is using the sound barrier and the Primal Rage. They really thought they were going to get this hold to get Kino back up onto the high ground. His tack visor did nothing there, and in all the chaos now, since they used so many resources, 7 has an ult lead, but so did Foxes on their push. Doesn't necessarily mean a win here. Looks like Adora's going to look for a back pick. That could be what opens this up for them to get the win. 70 seconds left right now. The Foxes, I don't know if they really should continue to be running the Soldier right now, but they're trying to get him a good line of sight, and they've got this corner advantage.
Adora needs to set up one hell of a pulse bomb. Has had some magnificent plays so far, and that's going to be a nice little start here. Free knocked out of the mech, and Evo taken down. Is it going to be enough? Only a few meters left to go here for the side of 7, and they have the faster respawn. They are right next to this payload. So everyone's going to get there very swiftly. It's just forward just a little bit more, but you can see 7. They're playing back around the corner, waiting for everybody to get regrouped.
Yeah, they have double support ultimates to make a Dragon Blade work, but Tuba needs to get it. They're trying to burst down the D.Va. There's the orbs. They're going to use the Transcends. This is a huge opportunity.
Our bench going all in here on the fight. Mika as well, holding onto the sound barrier, just going to chain it in together perfectly as Tuba drags out the Dragon Blade, but he takes a massive amount of damage here right off the bat. He'll cut down one, help gets a second, but needs a little bit more than that. Lucio trying to be annoying. Overwatch will still go down despite the wall riding, and now Junmak is taken out as well. Foxes being picked off one after the other with just 1.68 meters left to go. No one can get there in time, and it's going to be 7 taking another map, now up 2-0.
I mean, I think the 3 big things here were, first of all, Kino trying to use the Soldier just simply on a low ground play on the streets phase, having that one high ground moment, obviously after point A, just not finding success against this fantastic dive on the other side by 7 with Tuba's Genji, but not to mention the other 2 facets, which were the sound barrier and the transcends, both which were staggered perfectly. I know it's a very basic tenet of Overwatch that everyone's known since competitive Overwatch began, but you never want to stack your transcends or your sound barrier on top of each other. They did it perfectly. Transcends allowed Tuba to get the Dragon Blade built. They also burst down D.Va, forcing her to back away. She had to use her boost to leave the fight, giving control to that zone, and then she survived. Her mech survived a little bit longer, but she wasn't doing any defense matrix. So Genji gets in, gets that Dragon Blade. Sound barrier comes in the last second. He pulls the blade, and they're able to win the fight. And I just feel like the Soldier was a great opportunity. We talked about Kino running the Soldier potentially from the start of the map. And at the end on that defense, he was hell-bent on using it, even after losing point A. I feel like switching it up to more reliable DPS might have been the better option there, just because Soldier doesn't do as well after that initial point, especially against such coordinated dive.
Once you get into a much more close quarter situation, just swapping off of that, probably a bit better advised there, perhaps going back over to the Sombra, just so you can just continuously hack people, prevent them from using those ultimates and whatnot. So rough performance there from the Foxes. It was a damn close one. They drained out quite a bit of the clock away from 7, but in the end, the defense from both of these teams seems a bit lackluster, and as we get ready to go into Assault for our 3rd map type, that's when things could get very interesting, and maybe we do have those multiple caps coming through.
Sure.
So I'm excited to see what Foxes is going to choose and whether or not this is actually going to swing them an advantage, because it seemed like it was off the start of Nimbani, and just at the same time, 7 were able to just exceed their map push despite how good it already was.
I feel like if they want to keep running Kino on the Soldier and try to set up a more dive counter composition like they were looking to do on Nimbani there, they might need to run the Junkrat, but I think maps like Hanamura, which is the map they've listed to us as their preference map in lost situations here, or Lunar Colony are great maps to utilize the Soldier, especially on point B of Lunar Colony and point B of Hanamura. That could be something to go with. But dealing with Tuba and dealing with that dive, dealing with Evo's fantastic Winston, you want to pick a map where you try to basically mitigate how strong those tools can be, where you have a setup that's far away.